You wished you had this lovely hair.
Look at this, and no gray.
Yeah, but look, there's very little of it.
Yeah, you made very little.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, you got 3 strands of hair that barely touch your forehead. Hey guys, this is Abnormal Alabama, and Kevin and I are madly in love with each other, as you can tell.
No, he's just a big fat liar.
And like you're a skinny liar.
Yeah.
No. And Catherine don't even like her. She just puts a selfie picture on her screen there.
I don't want to take my face up there like that from now on. I want to do a picture.
There's a reason for that. Y'all don't want to see my face.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Okay, you don't want to be seen, you know. We'll go with that.
I might be indisposed or something, you know.
You might be on the toilet for all I know.
Yeah, could be. You never know.
Quit wiping your butt on TV. Okay.
I'm not wiping my butt on TV.
Somebody go to comments and greet our people over there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in on another Tuesday night. We're creeping into just a few short months. We will have been doing this for into our 4th freaking year. And we've done it everywhere from an office conference table to a Burger King hamburger joint. And now this has worked out really good because Kevin don't always use mouthwash, so it's, you
know. I use Listerine Total Control every night.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you brushed your teeth too.
I do brush my teeth every time. That's why I haven't had cavities in years.
Yeah, well, when you don't have teeth, you don't have cavities.
What do you call these white curly things right here? And these are real.
Okay. Quit opening your mouth. I saw you.
I don't slip and slide around like what's her name, Pelosi on TV.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When you do that, you should have your flute. Is anybody paying attention to our chat room here?
You distracted me. Yeah, I said hello. And then there's
Christmas girl. How you doing?
Christmas girl.
Mounted dolls. How you doing? Hello from the world of abnormality. Join us. We thank you very much. We got a very good show tonight. We got Kaitlin coming back in, and we're going to talk about past lives, reincarnation, soulmates. You know, Kevin's my soulmate.
Soulmate.
Soul Train. You're not old enough to remember that show.
I remember. Yeah, I was born in '78. I remember.
Do you remember Wolfman Jack?
I do. I remember Wolfman Jack, and I remember Soul Train.
Soul
Train. I remember. My favorite was Solid Gold with Marilyn McCoo.
Oh yeah, well that was pretty new. That's recent times.
Well, that was the early '80s. That was
I was
a little baby.
Yeah, well in the '80s I was already old. So
I was 5.
Catherine just said that the dinosaur that used to be downtown Clara, they made him get rid of it, so it's going to be for sale. And I said, I don't need it. I'm already a dinosaur. What do I want to buy
one? What makes me mad is the dinosaur has been there for 30 years. That dinosaur has been there for 30 years, and they're taking it. They took it down. The town, the city made them take it down.
Oh man. So
what was that?
She's sucking on something.
Oh,
Catherine, get that out of your mouth.
I think that was Kelsey.
We got this guy over here. This guy over here plays the flute and twerks.
Aye.
And now we know the real reason.
One time I twerked.
And that's gone viral. I understand that Zach Bagan wants you on his show now.
I want
the only one viral in this.
So here's the thing, folks. Have you ever had a deja vu moment?
Deja vu.
You know what deja vu is, right?
Yes, I know. Deja vu.
Have you ever had a deja vu moment?
Yes, I've had a deja vu.
Okay. And have you ever gone somewhere and met somebody and instantly had a reaction, not knowing why? Like it's oh, I really like this person. Or another case, it's like, I don't trust this person. You don't even know anything about them.
Yeah, the first time I went to the castle that day, I saw Kelsey and went,
yeah, well, that was a smart move, but why are you still here? Oh, wait a minute. We have the Crypt Witch with us.
Okay.
Oh, we saw the kiss. You did. That's okay. I do weddings. I see a lot of first kisses. I kind of doubt that was your first kiss.
No.
Yeah.
No, we had a baby without a first kiss.
You've had a little practice. Well, some people have babies without kissing, so I didn't know.
How do they do that?
I don't know. The same way some people do things without Vaseline. They say some people do things without Vaseline and it hurts. I don't know. Okay.
I guess they can get a donor. That's how they can do it.
Well, we're just getting started. A little introduction that I thought was apropos for the Crypt Witch and our subject for tonight is one thing that when we talk about your subject tonight, Kaitlin, is the Deja Vu Moment. You feel like you've done it before. I've been here before, but I've never been here before. Or you have an instant reaction to a person or place that you've never met before. Like immediately just in their vicinity, it's like, ooh, I don't like this person. Or, oh, I think I like this person. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. But we usually start the show with Kevin talking to one of his multitude of haunted dolls. And I encourage everybody. We got Christmas Girl, we got haunted dolls, we got people from all over the world here tonight. Please take the time and listen carefully, because as we do this live, it's hard for us to maybe get everything here. So help us out. If you hear something that sounds other than, Kevin belching or farting or something, let us know. Help us out. Who we got tonight?
Catherine's going to probably fall in love with this one. Look at this little ballerina girl. Look at this.
Is her legs permanently crossed like that?
Yeah, they're made that way. Yeah.
They're made that way.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, guess what?
What?
I may be getting a 3-foot ballerina girl.
Oh, look at you, a 3-foot ballerina girl.
Just like your big girl. I can't think of her.
Yeah, Carol.
Are you saying she has 3 feet?
She stands 3 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
She's actually only 31 inches, but close enough.
Okay.
Well, I'm
gonna clearly let Kevin take off. What's this girl's name?
I don't have a name.
Maybe we can find a name tonight.
That got sent to me with no, this is one of those, I just think she's creepy things. She's not creepy. Look at that.
Well, you like creepy things.
Look at that.
Kevin even likes me, and I'm creepy. So pay attention, folks. Listen, we have discovered the name and history of one of his dolls on this show. And he'll probably wrap this up about 7:30, and then we're going to go talk and let Kaitlin tell us about past lives and soulmates. Is anybody looking for a soulmate? Maybe she's got some info to help you find your soulmate. She found her soulmate, didn't you, Kaitlin?
Yes, but we will go into that later.
Okay. All right. Kevin, it's your show.
Okay. All right, let's go over here to the necrophonic. Let's see, I don't think people can see the thing over here, so I'm gonna kind of, yeah, there we go. I've got the REM pod over here. Oh, there we go. I want people to be able to see that and see if it lights up. All right. Let us get started. Ooh. Well, it locked out on me. Here we go. With a necrophonic. The necrophonic app. Oh, I just heard a little girl say hello. Hey, hello. Is that you? Is that a little girl with this ballerina doll? As you know, my name's Kevin, and I'm not sure if there is a spirit with this little ballerina doll. Hold her up here again for everybody in the audience to see. Whoa, there's that wailing again. Who is wailing? Is there a spirit with this doll that I'm holding? I heard somebody say something about a doll. Can you come closer and repeat that? If there is somebody with a doll, please tell me your name. Please say your name for me. How old are you?
She says 6.
You're 6, okay. What is your name? Did you say Tina?
Something real close to that, except I thought it was just one.
Yeah, I heard nah or something like that. Please say your name again.
Nell?
Nell? Is your name Nell? Is your name Nell? Nell, is this your job? I mean, your doll? Why did I start to say job?
Because you're making her work.
Is this your doll, Nell? Were you a little ballerina too?
I wonder what happened to her at 6.
Did you want to be a ballerina? I heard somebody say, I don't. So what happened to you? Ooh, I had to sneeze. I'm sorry, I was about to sneeze. What happened to you? That made you become a spirit. I'm feeling like there was a fall. Did you fall? Did you hurt yourself?
I honestly get the feeling that she did not hurt herself, that she had some kind of disease or deformity, that her ballerina desire or fantasy was something that she could have never achieved. She was born a certain way.
Okay. I forgot I was going to ask. What were you? Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to ask. What were you doing when it happened, when you became a spirit? Were you sick? Were you ill? Was something wrong? Did it have to do with somebody else, or did anybody else hurt you? So where were you when it happened? So are you dancing now that you're a spirit? I have this little toy over here, this goofy looking skull here. If you touch this metal rod here, the eyes light up. See how your doll is there? If you want to touch that and light it up, can you light that up for us? Go ahead and give it a try. So where did you live? Do you remember what year it was? Was there anything wrong that prevented you from dancing? Or some say odd. Look at that picture up there on that screen. Is that how you look when you're dancing? Is it like a blur? Was there anything you'd like to tell us? Her dad. Is your name Nell? Did we get that right?
Could her name be Heidi?
Heidi. I've got another doll in there named Heidi.
With an eating disorder? That
Is your
led
name-
Go ahead.
Is your name Heidi?
Heidi.
Say your name for me again so we make sure. It said Nell earlier, so did you hear it say Heidi, or was that something you thought of? I was asking you, Kelsey.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you hear it say Heidi, or was that just a thought that came to you?
Just things that kind of come to mind.
Yeah.
Something about it wasn't. I thought she was born with something, but she could have possibly had some kind of eating disorder that led to a heart attack, sudden heart attack, and that she did train for being a ballerina.
But a 6-year-old child, though, or are we getting we're getting more than?
I don't know, unless something else. I don't know. All I know is what came to mind.
Let me ask you: did you have trouble eating? Did you stop eating? Well, I don't know if I've asked this earlier. Did this doll belong to you before you became a spirit? I don't think the doll is that old, but I could be wrong. It might be 30 or 40 years old, something like that. Does the doll look like you?
I had the feeling she's talkative until you ask certain questions, then she gets real quiet.
Well, what would you like to talk about? Tell me what you'd like to say.
Silence.
We'd love to hear from you. We just got a little bit of time left, just a few minutes. I hear a little girl again. Is that you? Yes. Would you like to talk to us about something? What's your favorite thing to talk about?
If she is really there, if the spirit's really there, can they activate that?
If you're here, can you please touch this antenna there where your doll is? If you do, you see it light up and make all those squeaky noises. Those eyes are really neat when they light up. Well, you got a very beautiful doll here. Who gave her to you? I hear Gia. Who is Gia? Is there anything you want to tell us before we stop? I sure wish you touched the antenna, this little metal stick on the skull over here, make it light up. What was that? All right, last chance. Is there anything you want to? It's always when I start talking, they start talking. Is there anything you want to say before we stop? All right, then. It's getting time to stop so we can go to the next part of the show. But I thank you so much for being here. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to count down from 5. So if there are any spirits here who don't belong, be sure to go back to where you belong. And all spirits back up because I'm going to shut this door. So please back away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. Okay, Kaitlin, your mic is muted over there. All right, you remember this girl? She's been with us before, and she is very rounded into all these interesting paranormal, just you name it, she's into it. She probably don't go to church.
It's like what?
But anyway, she don't need to because she lives out her adventures and her beliefs. It's not a part-time thing for her. It's a full-time occupation, from what I understand. Between having a hubby and a newborn child, she looks like she's got a newborn child.
Yeah, I think it's make it simple. It did not happen.
Yeah, that's why people my age do not want newborn children. It takes a lot of energy. So, Deja Vu. We've all had those moments, I think, where you go along and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. That happened to me before. Or, you just how would you describe Deja Vu? In your terminology, Kaitlin, what's your definition of it to me, it's like it's something that, it's like, oh, wow, I've lived this moment before in this scenario, this whole experience I just had. Sometimes it's just a few seconds Sometimes it's a minute. The length of time doesn't seem to matter, but it grabs you. And maybe not, maybe it don't sink in the very second it happens, but real quick it sinks in like, ooh, that's weird.
No, I'm pretty much like that. It gets real confusing too because you are definitely sure that you have done that exact thing and been that exact place before, but you like try to rack your memories and you can't figure out where.
Well, it could be in a different country, a different part of the United States you've never been to before. And it's like I've never been to whatever, but yeah, I certainly remember that.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
a conversation even, and you're like, I've had this conversation before, but like I've done it where I try to search through like my past messages. I'm like, it's not here. I did
And
not
then
have this
and then there is that other thing that comes from these young kids that just walk up to their parents and say something about, oh, I remember when I got shot.
But before I came to you, Mommy.
Yeah.
I'm excited for those conversations.
So, Kevin, have you ever had one of those moments?
Yeah, but me, it's usually I've dreamed it before. I've had several times in my life where something happens and all of a sudden I remember, hey, I dreamed about this.
Yeah, I bet Catherine has too.
No, just a couple of times.
Yeah. So some people kind of brush it off real easy. Others, it's so profound that you just can't shake it.
Well, let's see. What was that? What was that train explosion?
The one over toward Anniston somewhere.
No, the one I told you. I said I looked at you and said, "Oops, there's going to be a train derailment and explosion." And I dreamed one night that there was a plane crash, and my mom was going to Texas, and it was a military plane that was involved in that I dreamed that was involved in the thing, and I'll be damned if the day that she was coming home, if there wasn't a crash with a military plane. It was an older military plane. It was privately owned.
Okay, that's more like a premonition than a deja vu, I believe, what you're talking about on those experiences.
It may be. I don't know.
Deja vu is when you're feeling something that's already happened, you experience, just like what Kevin had that experience he shared before, that it was kind of a dream maybe, but when he was in I think a pickup truck and got blown away in the back of his head or something.
Yeah.
That
was just
so that would be kind of like something that happened prior. And a deja vu is not really something you put your finger on. It's just like it's a moment or a place that you all of a sudden wait, I haven't been here before, but I feel like I've been here before. Something like that.
I can see how it would get confused with premonitions, especially if you think you had deja vu in a dream. The difference is that with deja vu, when you are experiencing it is like real time, whereas the part you've seen is like a past life that appears like in your dream. Sometimes it's just a feeling, whereas a premonition, you could have a dream about it and then it happens, and it may not even involve you. It's just an event that happens.
Right.
So like with deja vu, it does involve you, and you're connected somehow, but you're not sure where you were connected to that moment.
And then you have these. You could be at a social event, or you could be anywhere, and just meet somebody, and without knowing anything about it, you instantly either feel a connection or feel like I don't like this person, and not know why. And I think we've all had that experience. It's like, what are you?
I've had that where I come up on somebody, and I've always been told it's part of being an empath, where I come up with somebody just right away. I think I want to stay away from this person.
Yeah, well, you too many strip clubs, Kevin.
Hey, shut up. That's your little fantasy.
But yeah, I think we've all had those experiences. Again, some people tune into these things, and other people just kind of brush it aside and never think about it again. If you start giving thought to all this, it leads into other things. And that's some of the things I know Kaitlin, she's got a wide breadth of experience and knowledge on several of these subjects.
Did you see this comment? Somebody named El Beggar wants to know if we people are crazy.
Yes, we are crazy. That's why we call it abnormal. And we own it. We don't deny it. And we're proud of it.
Speaking of crazy, I need to take my meds.
Yeah.
I already had mine before I came on.
Yeah. So anyway, we're just short of Thorazine. We're not actually at the top to the Thorazine level, but we're getting close. Okay.
I'm on Zoloft.
There you go. You don't know what Thorazine is, look it up. You got to be really crazy for that one.
That reminds me, I'm going to say thank you again. I think it was Christmas Girl. Well, it might have been both Christmas Girl and Playful Rain. Friday night when I did my live on My Haunted Dolls, I did a live feed from the doll area, and some clown came on while I was doing the spirit box and chatted and said, "You're just too boring." And so I verbally responded, "I see you in the chat there, and if you think this is so boring, get the hell out of here." And then both Playful Rain and I think it was Christmas Girl jumped in there to my defense, and I appreciate that. They're like, "Get out of here! What are you doing?" Which it could have been a worse comment than that, but.
Well, there's something for everybody out there, and clearly we're not for everyone. I mean, I don't know of any Pentecostals out here listening to us. Okay, I didn't think so.
That person that asked, "Are you people crazy?" Well, hell yeah, we're crazy.
There's one thing about it is we got outside the box and we learned how to enjoy it, and our God's a happy God. How's that? So I don't, we don't do the
God's
boring.
a happy God. So
that's it. There you go.
Our God's a happy God.
Are you happy?
He likes worship because he's happy.
Kevin, put your armpits down. Please.
Hey, shut up. Jay, go wash your wig.
All right, let's get back to Kaitlin. She's the expert. You know what an expert is, Kaitlin?
No.
An X is a has-been, and a spurt's a drip under pressure. So, she's gonna talk to us about. So, what got you into reincarnation? Let's start there because we got several subjects you kind of hit on that you want to talk
about. Okay, so the reincarnation bit, I'm not really sure when that started. Where I identify as a pagan, it's not part of all pagan beliefs, but in my path, it is a part of my belief system that we are reincarnated. But I really don't know when that started for me.
Well, can I ask you some questions then about reincarnation? First of all, just from my viewpoint, we are all energy. Mm-hmm. We're connected in every way to every part of the universe. You're way out west somewhere. Okay?
Somewhere.
Yeah. But reality is we're breathing the same air. We're drinking the same water. You're drinking the same water that Hitler drank. Kevin's breathing the same air that Adam breathed. Bottom line is, so we are technically, biologically, scientifically know that we're all connected. We know that when we die, energy does not die and it disperses to different places. In the realm of, and of course, reincarnation is not an exact science. No belief system is an exact science, whether it's Christianity, paganism, or whatever. Mm-hmm. When we die, can you come back as multiple things? In other words, a piece of me goes to a plant, a piece of me goes to a dog, a piece of me goes to Kevin.
So, in my studies, what I have grasped to the most, it is with definitely the energy theory, but it's more like a karmic energy. So, as you go through this life, you are either using or creating karmic energy. And so when you pass on, if you have used the karmic energy, like it's getting smaller. But if you've created karmic energy like you were a straight up asshole, you know, that just creates bigger energy. And then your reincarnations are you going through the karmic energy or trying to close the ties of the karmic energy that you have created. When we die, yes, we are energy. And so if we die and there's still energy left, obviously that energy needs to be used. And so I think how I see it is that energy is what puts us into our next life.
So El Beggar, who asked if we were crazy, and we agreed, yes, El Beggar, we are crazy, as asking Kaitlin a question, what do you remember? What comes back to you? And people do this differently. Some people have to go into this hypnotic regression thing to get, and I'm skeptical of that. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that if it's true, then it will come naturally to you. That you tell me what you think, but
so I'm actually I just graduated from the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, and I have a specialization in past life regressions.
Well, I understand what hypnotism is, and that basically it's a very deep meditative state, or it's.
Yeah, so the regressions that they do through hypnosis, I think it's more of like a way for people to discover that past life that when they never felt like they could. Some people are like, I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to find if I've been a person before. And so the past life regression kind of just gets them to a place where they can discover that.
So what can you tell us about your previous life?
So I'll tell you about two. In one of them, I was a nurse in World War II, and my name was Maggie. I had like shorter, curly, brunette hair. Not like this. This has more red in it, but like just straight up brown. And I didn't get very far into that one. I need to discover more on that one. But I do know that I was out rescuing soldiers, and that's when I passed. And then in another life, I was a dude, and I want to say it was kind of like mountain man-ish era, kind of. Because I left society because I was angry at society because they kept telling me that they were the reason that I was succeeding in life, and they were the reason that I was where I was at. And so I got really mad, and I left society, and I took my family with me, and I built a completely sustainable home in the mountains all by myself with me and my family. And we lived out our days there because I was pretty much over society just telling me that I didn't do anything on my own, and that they were the reason that I could do the things I had done.
Okay, so I know one thing as I start delving into this subject matter is you've got a lot of people that, in my previous life, I was the King of England, and I was, yours were not these well-known, you were just common whomever's, what you're saying. What do you think about all these people? Like, you can go online, you can find like 1,000 people that claim that they were Marilyn Monroe or JFK Jr., you see, and stuff like that. Do you find those less credible, or you just say, well, take it at face value, or what?
I do have a hard time believing that. So take Marie Antoinette, for example. She probably created a lot of karmic energy. So her karmic soul is going to be living this world for a long time. But I don't believe that that same soul can exist in 5 different people at the same time. I think, sure, somebody living must have been her at one point, but just one person. Because they cannot be, I don't think the soul can actually separate, or our energy. The karmic energy just keeps going in the path that it has been created, that it created.
Okay. Thomas, I assume I'm pronouncing it right, Ritchie, is asking about, does the spirit remember all of them, or at least some? And I want to first of all compliment Thomas. I'm a stickler on this because there's a big difference between spirit and soul. And unfortunately, in our society, our culture has kind of been misused. And I'm not trying to pounce on you, but the soul is not the spirit. You are a soul. If you go back to the early part of the 20th century, 1914, when the Titanic sank, the headlines read, X number of souls perished. But spirit is totally different. But regardless of that, I'm sorry, I have to get on my soapbox a little bit. The bottom line is, if we get into, just a study of words and whatnot, I was telling Kevin before the show, it's like, do you realize where the word cult comes from? C-U-L-T? Culture, C-U-L-T, culture.
Yeah.
Okay, so people don't want to teach you that, because culture is designed to control you, just like religion controls your behavior and so forth. None of these tools are there to set. Government's not there to free you, trust me. That's not the point of government. Government's not about freedom. Anyway, bottom line is, back to Thomas's question, spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it is, get off my soapbox. Are you capable of remembering them all? Does it take a great effort? Because some people, like these little kids, they're not putting forth any effort, and they just walk along and say, "Hey, Mom, you see this? You see that birthmark there? I remember how I got that back in 815."
So I think there's actually a somewhat scientific reasoning for that one, and that's because we only use 12% of our brain while we are conscious beings. And so I believe that we do remember all those, but we don't have access to them during our conscious waking life. Words are not working. Because if you were to access your entire brain at one time, it's not possible. Your brain would explode. And so all of our memories are stored, but you can't get to them because you're trying to live this life and make this body function and make your life around you function. You're going to your job, you're making your money. And so you're not trying to remember the memories that aren't helpful to you in this life. You're trying to remember, what did I have to bring with me today to work? Or, did I lock the bar after I left it? So I do believe that we do remember them, and that's why like the hypnosis things or the meditations can help you access those memories, because you're in a different state. You're not.
So you're basically just, like you say, putting your mind in a place to be able to draw from those memories. So it is stored there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's why children can remember it, because the capacity that their brain is using, they don't have a lot of stuff to remember. They don't have things that they have to do. They don't have to function like we as adults do. And so they remember it more because it's easier for them to access.
Yeah, well, I wrote a book called "Are You a Victim of WMD? Weapons of Mass Distraction." And that's, as adults, we have more distractions. As a child, you pretty much, you don't have to worry about where your food's going to come from, and you don't have, how am I going to pay the rent and all that.
You have no stressors.
Yeah, so you've got more time to just be in your thoughts. Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, so all right, so you think that the more energy a person built up in your life, the more apt they are to be reincarnated. Do you go with the more Buddhist belief that you keep going through these cycles until you reach a certain state of being, and then the reincarnation stops? Because
I believe you go until you have used up the energy, if that makes sense, because energy doesn't just disappear, but it can be used.
Well, I understand that, and I go back. Okay, the way you worded, and I've often thought, well, if you die, why is it like ghost hunting? You go to an area and it's called what's it called, Kevin? When you residual energy In other words, the ghost is in this cycle. They're not really present with you. It's just like a replay of something that happened in their life. What's that called?
Reenactment.
Residual.
I think you said it. Residual. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you say, Catherine?
I said residual energy.
Yeah. So that energy's there, or that you wouldn't have that experience, but it's not their total being or spirit or whatever's there. It's just kind of a residual leftover thing. So where's the rest of them? Where's the rest of that being? It's a piece of them's here.
So this kind of goes into the soulmates portion. So
okay, Play for Rain said imprinted. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay. So as I've been working with past lives and kind of studying it, one thing I've found is we don't just have soulmates, we have soul groups. There's groups that we we mesh with, like you three. We do
not mesh. That's a
you talked the last like you all have like December birthdays and like you just are, things like that. Where you just happen to like find each other and you don't know why, but you're supposed to they're supposed to be in your life for some reason.
Right.
You don't even know what that reason is.
Right.
So when we pass, we kind of want to wait for our soul group before we move on to the next life. So some of that residual energy could be somebody waiting around for their buddies to show up before they move on to the next life because they don't want to go alone. Because then they break that tie, basically.
So this is an interesting question. Thomas, I really appreciate these because I can think of questions, but I'd rather have more participation than me just trying to say, what did I ask her next? So I guess, Kaitlin, you can read that question for yourself.
Yeah. So as souls, do we plan specific things that we want to happen in our physical life? I'm kind of willing to go yes and no. As I was saying, like it's a karmic energy. And so in our physical life, we want to, what's the word? Like put our karma back on track. We want to get in the good karma. So I guess we would plan for our physical life. If we really messed up the last one, we would want to get into good karma. But as far as the God has a plan thing, I'm not so sure we make a plan for our lives because the way we enact with people and meet people and mingle, it will always change our paths. So we could make a plan, but I don't think it would ever follow through because when we become a physical body, that last life tends to fade as we progress in this new life. And so our plan would basically be forgotten.
Yeah, that stands to reason. I've often, throughout your life, especially when you're younger, I guess, you may have been asked, as some are, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And my response is always, I don't know, because I don't know what's behind door number 3.
My response is always dead. I mean, I don't know.
Just be dead.
So very, very interesting with that. So I don't see, so it would not be predestined.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. And everything we do when we meet Kaitlin, all of a sudden our Tuesday night changes. See?
Okay.
And I never did this with Kevin when we met several years ago now. Things developed in a certain way that would not have developed if we had not met. It would go in a different direction, a different way. And Kaitlin probably wishes it had gone. I mean, Kevin probably wishes it had gone a different way, but so yeah, you're right. Let's somebody go there and boot this.
Yeah, I just did. I just did. Where did that come?
I don't know.
I'm wondering, is that wasn't on my?
That's a good comment.
Is it on my YouTube?
It was showing up on my haunted dolls.
Okay. People have nothing better to do. I believe in freedom, but I'm sorry, that's not. Maybe. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I am reincarnated from Adolf Hitler. I don't know. Do I resemble him in any way? No. Speaking of that, my own experience has been very interesting because if I believed in reincarnation, and this sounds crazy, and I don't promote this, I haven't gone around saying, "Oh yes," blah, blah. Haven't written a book about it, haven't got on TV and claimed this, but I'll claim it. Interesting thought about me in terms of Aleister Crowley, because we share a lot in common with our lives. I'm a writer. He was a very prolific writer. And his father was a pastor. My father was a pastor. A lot of different unique things about his life that kind of have fallen in mine. And I went the same course. I started out in Christianity, started out on the pulpit, and then things happened that took me different directions and whatnot. And also, I was born exactly to the day 7 years after his death. So that really got my attention. And I was bald-headed like he was. So anyway, I mean, but I read a lot of his works. He if you don't know much about him, he wrote some good books. He wrote some good stuff. And I'm not talking about just Thelema and stuff like that. He was a very prolific writer. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in. So if I ever claimed that I was reincarnated or felt that I was reincarnated, the most recent would have been him. And I don't put that out there because, like I said, I'm kind of negative about everybody claiming to be, I was Marilyn Monroe, I was this or I was that. It's always well-known names, so I didn't want to be one of them.
No, it makes sense. But I don't think, well, I don't know, I guess people who follow his works and his, they could all think that they are reincarnated forms of him, I suppose.
I never knew much about him, and there were certain things that caught my attention that made me more into it, because I did not grow up thinking about Aleister Crowley. Didn't even know anything about him growing up. So anyway, I just thought I'd interject that. So you clearly 100% believe in reincarnation to the point to where you are aware of at least 2 of your past lives. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you document this as it comes to mind? Do you keep a journal on it, or does it just stick to you?
Journal. They are on loose leaf sheets of paper.
That's a journal. That's a journal.
Whatever I happen to have at the time.
Do you keep a notepad and paper with you next to your bed in case you wake up? Yeah. I mean, that's a wise thing. Some people now will use a little digital recorder and keep it there and whatever, but yeah. Kevin writes a lot of books. Kevin, do you ever, outside of that story about you getting shot in the back of the head while driving a pickup or something, is there any other things in your life that made you feel like you could be reincarnated from a previous?
No, not to my awareness. I've never had a feeling that I've I had some of those moments before, just little things where I've stopped and said, dang, this feels like this happened before.
Do you have
other than
phobia?
That,
like a legit phobia that freezes you from doing something?
No. The only thing I don't like is big spiders, but a lot of people have arachnophobia. I mean, a little spider, I don't care, but those big hairy things, I don't like those. I don't like snakes.
Oh, now I know how to get Kevin.
Oh, shut up.
So there's a theory that if we have unexplained fears, which are typically phobias, that they were caused from a previous life. But they have to, they don't have to be, I guess, but normally they present themselves in paralyzing amounts. So somebody's afraid of water, but to the extent where they can't even take a bath, and they have issues in the shower type of fear. And sometimes that goes back to a past life because they drowned to death. So
yeah. So now the big question about reincarnation. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Are you prepared for this question? This is the one you got to really be prepared for. To me, it is the unresolved question. Everything else I can kind of grab a hold of, but I have a problem with this issue with reincarnation. Where did you start?
See, that is the thing. So, like the Big Bang, right?
Okay, so
It basically created energy. Energy was
right.
created, right? So I think how I perceive it is energy can still be created through cataclysmic or maybe not so events. I don't think you would need a Big Bang to create enough energy for one's soul or
Now,
spirit to
yeah,
move
now I'm
through.
not talking about humans in general.
Hmm.
I'm talking about you specifically.
Oh,
Okay, in other words, you believe in reincarnation,
hmm,
so you had to start somewhere.
that is true. And I
Okay,
actually have not
that's my point.
explored
Yeah.
that far back.
So
Maybe
yeah, I'm
I
not
should
talking.
do
Yeah,
that and say, "Take me to my first life.
take me to my leader. Okay.
Take me to my leader." Yes.
Yeah,
I have not explored that for myself.
yeah.
Um,
So that's just the way my mind works. It's like, okay,
ah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm not a creationist. That's not the point of all that. But it you all, you know, from a spiritual view and a reincarnation view, you go back through and I know some people that have worked very hard to go as deep into their past as they could with
Hmm.
reincarnation. They didn't stick to just the last one. They went back and back and back and back.
Yeah.
They actually pay people like now you're qualified to do for these therapy regression to, you know, okay, all right, I discovered that I was that. Now what was I before that? And on and on and on. What do you learn from those prior lives that made you what you are today? And how does that knowledge affect your existence now? And how would that knowledge affect future existence?
So as I was saying with like the phobias, that's one example of how it helps people now. If they discover that in the past life they drowned and they actually in like a meditative or hypnotic state or even just a conscious state work through that death process of them drowning and get through it, a lot of times that helps the healing process of their current phobia of water. um, I did a regression on my friend, and hers had nothing to do with her death transition. It had to do with the trauma that was established in a past life was reflecting on her current life. And it was like she was a survivor in a past life, and her whole family had perished, and she had like survivor's guilt, and she didn't like in this life she was having a hard time connecting with her family, and it was because of the survivor's guilt from the past life. She didn't want to connect with this family because she was afraid they would die again. And so sometimes it just helps you work through current traumas that are unexplained, some phobias, anxieties. um, Sometimes they're just messages that are like, hey, you've been through this before and this is how we do it, you know, things like that.
Okay. So now we agree that it's all about energy. Is that pretty much your feeling?
Yes.
It's all energy. It's just the bottom line. So then, are you aware of anybody whose past life put them on a different planet,
Ooh,
an alien?
no.
I'm not talking about Kevin. I'm talking about anybody else.
Oh, shut up. Mr. Sci-Fi down there.
I say no, but it's because I don't know them personally.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there, but I
I
mean, you
have
know,
heard of people that like some call themselves star seeds. Like they
Yep.
came from
Yep.
they came from another planet. And I'm like, okay, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know. Our science is still working on life on other
Mhm.
planets, so I'm like, I think it's possible that there's life out there elsewhere. I just have no idea where, and I'm like, that's
Well,
way
an interesting
out
thing
there.
about, in fact, in the news just recently, and that's 2 or 3 days. I forget it's China, I think, that has got a craft that's been circling the moon and investigating the dark side of the moon
Yeah.
that we never see, and they found this box, this cube that looks a little not naturally formed, if you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
so they're actually moving their rover, whatever they got there, closer to it. We don't know yet what that is, But we also know that throughout the history of our moon exploration, there's been all kinds of, proposals that what's on that dark side and, all that. In fact, I think it was Pink Floyd that talked about the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
So, so it's been a big thing. In that, there's something that interested me because I'm a lot older than any of you guys. And in the early days, past the 40s and 50s, we talked about Martians. Now, at that point in time, we hadn't explored. We didn't have any rovers on Mars. But throughout the early parts of science fiction, we always talked about Martians. The more we've delved into and learned about Mars, it's almost like at one time it had oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
There's even water been discovered there in certain levels, of course.
Don't drink the water on Mars.
Yeah. So I wonder if we are, as a group, I forget what they call it, but we're consciously remembering some things as we go through history here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard to say. I know that it's fascinating to us to think about these things, but that was a big thing when I was a kid. Martians. We don't say that much anymore.
Yeah.
But it was, where did they come up with that? Why was it Mars? Okay. Goodbye, Crazy Girl. I guess Crazy Girl's going to leave us now.
I think she's just joining us.
Oh, good evening. Okay, Crazy Girl just joining us. I'm sorry.
Yet, so that
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. We're talking about reincarnation. Kaitlin is the expert, and after I gave her the definition of expert, she may be insulted by that. I don't know, but she's the know-it-all.
No.
And I just asked her, reincarnation is who has claimed to come back that lived on Mars or somewhere, that'd be an interesting one, right?
Yeah, a lot of what I have heard from these, like the people that call themselves starseeds, a lot of them don't actually come from planets in our solar system, I've noticed.
Well, the universe is big. We have not even, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, we haven't even gone that far out.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's why I said in our solar system, because they have come. And when I say that's way out there, I don't mean like you're out there offensively. I mean that's beyond what I've even investigated.
I know I'm out there. So
like when it comes to space, I'm just like, it's there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think astrophysicists would say that we're all stardust. We're all made of carbon. That's found throughout all the universe that we've explored. We may at one time, long after we're dead and gone, discover that our view of physics is not standard throughout the universe. Who knows? So it can all be different. I know that all the studies I've done in life, I've got a PhD in theology. I've studied a lot. I've written a lot. And I can tell you that sometimes people will say, what did you learn? And there's one profound thing that I learned is that we don't know shit. That's what I've learned. We don't know shit. The people that claim they know don't know. It's all theories. We're all groping through life and nobody has the answers. I remember when I had an epiphany as a young man, because when you're a kid, you respect, the president, the senator, the preacher, the authority figures. You have this deep respect for these mature people that wore suits and were leaders and articulate speakers and all that. And then you grow up one day and all of a sudden it's like, well, if some alien landed a spacecraft here in Alabama, landed on somebody's front lawn and said, take me to your leader, it's like, we've got no leader. We got nobody to take it. And these people, they really don't know any more than the rest of us. They just want you to think they do. I think we should find somebody that's been reincarnated a bunch of times and knows something about the past, because I think history could be important to our future.
I have come across somebody who was like a new soul.
Okay, back to when did you start?
Yeah, so I found a newbie, a little baby. We did a past life regression with her, and the entire 2 hours, because it was a group one, but the entire 2 hours, it was just dark for her. And
So she had.
Yeah, some people will get like something, like even if it's minuscule, they'll see like, a place at least or some kind of light or something, and it was just dark for her.
Okay, so that individual, and put it in my terms, their first getting the components together to be this conscious being happened with that birth.
Mm-hmm.
That would be their first carnation.
Yeah. And she was saying how she kept trying to go back past her birth, and there was just nothing there.
Because she wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that I found very interesting.
Okay. What if we host one of these regression things that you do?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because I'd like to know. I've got some questions about Kevin and where he came from.
Oh, come on. You don't want to know.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
From.
I don't want to know.
You don't need to know where I come from. I come from the ground. I come from my mama's womb. That's where I come from.
Well, I tell people on your birthday, did you take the time to thank your mom and dad for having sex at the exact moment and they did? If it happened 30 seconds later, you would not been you.
Don't we all feel comfortable going to our parents going, hey, thanks for humping?
That's it. You are the result of unprotected sex. Get over it. Okay.
Some of us are condom ads walking around.
Well, maybe you are.
Maybe you are.
I was an accident.
Oh, me. I was too. They all died.
I'm the second of 5. And my brother was apparently a horrible baby. My mom said she didn't want any more. And then I was an accident. So we're 18 months apart. And I was the only accident.
Let's get Miss Catherine back on here. And I want you and her to talk about soulmates, because that was one of the subjects you wanted to discuss. And I feel that she would be better to converse with you on that subject, because nobody's my soulmate.
What makes you think I have a soulmate? You have to have a soul to have a soulmate.
Interview this young lady from out in the boonies.
She's in the boonies, or I'm in the boonies?
No, she makes you look like you live in a super urban area where she lives. How many populated in your little town? Was it Wyoming?
2450.
2450.
That's about what we are here.
Yeah, but she don't have a Birmingham or Chelsea or anything like that anywhere near her. When she goes outside, it's dark.
It is dark.
I wish it was dark because Friday, it's supposed to be like this magnificent thing in the sky where you can see all 3 of the planets. They're going to be the brightest they've ever been, and the moon and all that good stuff. And I'm kind of excited. The planets are all aligning on Friday, which is my birthday.
So the Titans will be released?
I guess so.
So, okay, soulmates.
So tell me about soulmates.
Oh, that's a very broad thing.
No, Kevin and I are broad things.
I ain't no broad.
Earlier,
Yeah,
we do have like these soul groups. So a soulmate is somebody that you connect with more than the rest of your soul group. Like, your soul group, you find the people and you feel an attachment, whereas your soulmate, you find them and you feel like you cannot be without them. Like if they died, you feel like you would probably die too. A lot of times soulmates find themselves like dying close within the same timelines. However, a soulmate does not have to be the love of your life. When Kelsey asked me if I found mine, I was like, yeah, I'll go into that later, because my soulmate is actually my best friend. My husband is definitely part of my soul group, but my soulmate is her. She lives in Virginia now, but we still talk almost every day. But there's just this connection that we can't explain at all. We know we were meant to find each other. We know we were meant to be together, like best friends. A lot of people think we are a lesbian couple. We're both straight, but it's fine. But my husband has to share custody. of me with her. So, but yeah, so a soulmate is somebody that it's just an overpowering connection you have with that person. Whereas your soul group, there's a connection there. But it's not always. People in your soul groups can also be people you hate. Like, this person is meant to follow you and torment you through every life. And they're just there. But they're part of your group because they are what kind of keeps you going in a way. If that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying, but what you're also saying is that a soulmate can not be good for you too.
True. Yeah. They, yeah. That actually comes into this new twin flame obsession, which are basically toxic soulmates. My friend and I were having a discussion about this because how people are describing these twin flames is they're like your soulmate, but the shadow side of it, and they help you like work through the toxic traits of yours. But yeah, so twin flames are like your toxic soulmates.
I think I have a couple of those.
Yeah.
Kevin's one of them.
I don't know. Have you ever met somebody that like you just instantly hate them? Like, you get this feeling of like just dread the second you meet them, and you're like, I have no reason to judge this person or feel this way towards this person, but I do not like you.
That's about everybody I meet.
God, but he's a judgmental twat.
I don't know.
Just because I don't like anybody does not mean I judge them.
Oh,
I have a hard time with I like people until I get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I get to know them, I usually do not like them at all whatsoever. So I guess I'm more of a loner. So
I mean, I think it's possible to be a soul that can be a lone ranger, the lone wolf. I guess that's always possible. I mean, you could be a lone wolf in life, so why not be a lone wolf traveling through the different lives? It makes sense, and you may have a different purpose than, helping your soul group through life. You have a different purpose, where being a lone wolf, you could help lots of different people or help yourself. Just different things. I'm sure there's a purpose. I think there's a purpose for everybody. I don't think anybody is purposeless. Not a word, but I just made up one.
on the Christian side of things, we say, well, sometimes God knows that certain people are happier alone, and it gives them more time to be helpful to others without being tied down to other things. So it kind of shares that belief there.
I mean, I like company sometimes, but majority of the time, I like to be by myself. Don't bother me. Leave me alone. Let me do my own thing.
I think the big thing to determine, like, if you have a soulmate or a soul group would be the longing. Do you long to have a group, or do you long to have a soulmate? Because if you don't, then yeah, you're probably a lone wolf that travels through the different lives. If you don't have that longing, then you probably don't have a group, because you're not trying to find them. Because I feel like our souls are constantly trying to find the ones that we connect to, whether we want to or not. And so if you aren't finding that longing, I would say you might be a lone wolf on that.
Every once in a while, I'll get that feeling that I want to find some, like friends. I'm not a big friend person, just never have been. I have a very select few that I call friends. I just have no desire. I just don't like people, I guess.
What's that term they use? So you don't have any friend anniversaries over there?
You two are the only friends that I really.
That's like I tell people, if I want to go to a family reunion, I'd have to die to get there. They've all gone. And I can't go to a graveyard to do it because they're all dispersed through different places. So they're not even united in death. At least their corpses aren't.
I got an interesting idea to throw out there for discussion. Can a ghost be a soulmate?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I wrote the book on that subject.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, really, no, seriously,
and
dating
I've
the
got
dead. Yeah.
some ghosts here that I'm a lot closer to than
But that can
living
go back
people.
to the soul group discussion because, like I said, they wait around until the rest of the group has passed before they move to the next life. So your soulmate could be dead.
Well, yeah, there have been people, women, especially that have married. You know, one well-known case was married the ghost of a pirate. Okay. So literally, if you go to datingthedead.com, gives you the information about the book I wrote on this subject, because a lot of people have established relationships.
I've had that tab open for ages.
You what?
I've had the tab open with your book for ages.
I never ordered it.
No, I want to, but I keep.
It's not that expensive. Geez.
No, I'm just terrible and keep buying other things.
Well, not only that, but there are even, and you can check this out, there are a lot of men that have problems finding their soulmate in a relationship and have made relationships with these life-size dolls. They're commonly called sex dolls. They're not the blow-up type sex dolls, but they are very realistic looking. They dress them up. They have sex with them, all the above. Some people drive around. They pose with them. So some people have a issue finding the right connections with the quote unquote living.
No, I
boy, everybody got quiet on that one.
There's a cricket chirp.
Yeah, well, you got to keep in mind, Kevin, I'm not trying to pick on you, but he does have relationships with over 300 dolls.
Hey, always picking on me.
I always liked that picture of this guy that filled a bunch of these blow-up dolls with helium, and his neighbors thought the rapture had happened.
Yeah, I've seen that. The way I heard it's a guy driving with blow-up dolls. And they fly out of the car because his roof was open, and the driver behind goes, "It's a rapture."
I'm left behind. Yeah,
I could so see that happening, Kevin.
So that's what I want to do at the property, is just get a bunch of those dolls and put helium in them and tie them to the trees out there so they float up in the air.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't last long, and it would be awful expensive.
Yeah,
and hard to supply.
All right, so we're talking about soulmates. How does that connect with what we're talking about, reincarnation? Can you connect in a future life with somebody that you were connected with in this life?
Yeah. I think I did kind of already cover that with the whole soul groups thing. Because we do travel from one life to the next with our group, if we have one, or with our soulmate. And we may be born in different parts of the world, or maybe other worlds. I don't know. But we eventually, you are supposed to find each other. If you don't, I think something went severely wrong.
So you can also then run across people from a previous life that you don't want to run across.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to Catherine, like a instant dread upon meeting a person that you've never met before, and you have no idea why. You just instantly, completely dislike them, like legitimately do not like this person at all.
Would your past lives affect your likes and dislikes in a present life? I mean, let's take Kevin, for instance, not picking on you, Kevin, but could there be something about a past life that naturally gravitated him toward paranormal, toward the haunted dolls, toward that kind of stuff? Or would that be just a new thing for this new life?
Both. I think, like, we'll take the dolls, for example. He could have been like maybe a young girl who died at a young age in a past life. And so that soul held on to the dolls as being like their their blanket, you know.
So he's got this attachment to this flute. Could he have been a flute player in the past life? Because he sure can't play it this life.
I didn't start this till a couple of months ago.
I mean, that's possible. I don't think he's got as much of a connection to the flute as he does the dolls, though.
I know that. He's only got one flute, and he's got over 300 dolls.
I think we do kind
are late in life. I'll tell you, I grew up in a haunted house and saw a lot of spooky stuff. A haunted neighborhood, really.
Yeah. I think we could definitely be attached to items that were from past lives. For example,
I don't know what y'all talking about.
So let's tie this in. Let's tie this in now with ghost hunting and that sort of thing. So if we're reincarnated, there must be a span of time between our death and the reincarnation, and that must be that space of time where our spirit is not moved on to a future life.
Correct.
So once we are reborn, there's no more. We can't haunt anybody anymore.
Yeah. However, I do believe that some of us get left behind because we may not have enough energy to become a physical being again.
So we remain in that other realm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
I believe that when that sometimes we're just waiting for the right body to be put back into is what I think.
That too.
Do you how do you connect with the people that you were born through?
So I do not connect with the people I'm born through. I actually try to access the memories that are stored.
No, I mean, okay. You had to be born of some mother, and she had to have. So those two individuals, I'm not talking about a personal connection. I'm talking about
gotcha.
Why them to create the new you? How did that happen? Do you sit up in the spirit world and say, okay, I think I want to come through that couple, or does it just happen? Where does that come from?
There's actually some theories on that. Like, your immediate family and your friends could also be part of your soul groups. Like, for example, your mom could have been like your sister in a past life. And then you just happen to get flipped around somewhere in this life. I'm not completely sold on that because like that would be like massive groups that just like, blocks of time instead of just moving easily through time. So I'm not completely sold on that. I do think that we more attach ourselves to an idea of like what we want for our karmic energy to recycle or become better. I cannot think of the words I'm wanting to use here.
Yeah, you're making it.
And I think that puts us into the physical being that we need to be. And so I think our karmic energy kind of decides which path would be the best for us to start.
So what about the people that are born through acts of rape?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of cases of even like a 13, 14-year-old girl being raped and getting pregnant.
Yeah, I think like if they don't get an abortion, because I know if that were the situation, I probably would. But if they don't get an abortion, there actually is a child that comes through rape. That child's past lives could have had like just an outrageous amount of karmic energy that they need to reconcile. There's the word I've been looking for.
Reconcile.
And so like they come into this life possibly as a healing spirit for that 14-year-old mother, or possibly as a healing spirit for the family that may adopt them, because there's a lot that comes from those children. Though the circumstances are horrible upon that birth, usually you find that those children end up being an amazing blessing for whoever has them, be it through the adoption or just for the mother having this new being that brings new hope for her life. Some not so much. And those ones I think had really bad karmic energy.
Could and then you mentioned abortion, which is, right now legal, even though a lot of states are trying to get away from that. So what's that happen? So you haven't been born, but you've been conceived for your reincarnation, and then abruptly it stopped. What happens?
I think that is like your energy is like, I need this path, and then realizes that there's not actually a path there for them.
So it's kind of meant to be. Okay.
Hold on one moment.
This is Abnormal Alabama. There's Kevin, there's Catherine, there's I, and there's the Crypt Witch, and we're talking about reincarnation. We're talking about soulmates and all these wonderful different subjects. Kevin hadn't talked about his multitude of books that he's put out, and we now have who is this child reincarnated from?
Say hi.
And what's the name?
This is Ellie.
Ellie? And Ellie does not have a clue what's going on in this world yet.
No clues.
But in my natural state of affairs, Ellie has the same haircut I do. So as I would say, God created some heads perfect. The others he covered with hair.
What is she, about 4 months old?
2.
Wow, you got a big baby.
She is 11 pounds and 14 ounces. She gained 4 pounds in 2 months.
Playful Rain said, I knew I heard a sweet baby. But Playful Rain, you have no clue whether that's a sweet baby or not.
It could have been a ghost.
Before they can talk and back talk you.
So you would be up to doing one of your regression 2-hour episodes with us coming up?
Yeah.
You like that idea?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Well, why don't we put it together as far as letting the public know? And as far as I'm concerned, we could do it next week if you wanted to. Is that too soon?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening next
okay,
week.
let me know. Just let me know. We'll set it up and we'll mark it. We'll let everybody know. Social media, we'll get it out there. You can put it on TikTok or whatever. And then you choose who you'd want to. Do you need to talk to them, or you just can feedback through chat, or how can you do it?
No, so it's good in this environment. And no, we don't. I mean, we could do a hypnosis session in advance, but it would take up the whole 2 hours if we did it now. And with the past life regression, if they didn't want to do it in advance, it doesn't matter. It would be 2 hours.
Okay, so why don't you? We've got roughly 30 minutes left in this show. Don't put us, unless you want to, put Kevin into a hypnotic state. But how would that happen? Kind of tell us what you would do.
So I kind of will explain the theory of hypnosis, the scientific theories of how hypnosis works, and go through how your mind works and why hypnosis works on your mind. And then I would go through figuring out what's called your suggestibility, whether you're emotionally suggestible or physically suggestible, which is how your brain functions, basically. If it's logical or if it's more yeah, my brain is not working.
How would you? Okay, so you got someone that's very pragmatic, logical thinker. How do you get them? Because they've got to be the hardest ones to get into this state.
So I have a different induction for each one, whether you're a physical or an emotional. So I would just go through my induction for the more logical thinkers. I wouldn't use metaphors. Yeah. I wouldn't use the metaphors and things. I would use more literal suggestions. And I would do what's called an arm raising induction. Or I could do the rapid eye movement induction.
So just as a exercise for education, what is the arm raising induction? What is that? That's clearly got something to do with your arm raising.
So if you've ever seen like a hypnosis show, like the stage shows, did they do the one where the balloon was tied to the wrist and their arm kept lifting and lifting? Yeah, it's similar to that. But not so for like for the logical person, you would not have a balloon tied to your wrist because that's a metaphor, and to your brain, it doesn't make sense like that.
So you would use something else for them. The more susceptible person could do this. Yeah. They're more open-minded, if you will.
The best ones we like are somnambulists, and they're about 50-50 emotional and physical. And they're the ones that are really good for the stage shows. They're the ones that get up there on stage and like he says, and sleep, and they're like, those ones. They're great.
So you went through training for this. Could you do a stage show?
I could. I could have
done. You feel qualified to do that?
Like halfway through, but more than way earlier than that. Because stage shows, you don't really need a lot of training because all you're doing is providing entertainment.
Right.
Whereas what I got my certification for, I'm an actual hypnotherapist. So I could help with your anxieties and your weight loss and your quitting smoking and
hear that, Kevin?
Anxieties, fears, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Emotional blocks,
phobias, so forth. Okay. So you are convinced all this works. In the line of talking about the hypnosis and that sort of thing, I've always told people, and everybody's different, and I get that. We all, just like you said, some people are more logical. Some of us are a harder nut to crack than others. Others are more susceptible to these types of things. I used to be the Marlboro man. I smoked, and I thought if I'm going to smoke, I'm going to smoke a Marlboro.
Look who smoked.
So, and I just, I've never been an addict. I mean, we all have our addictions of some sort, but chemical addictions I've never had, if you know what I'm saying. I could try something and say, okay, I tried that, and walk away from it. Smoking was more of a continual thing for me for years. It started out years ago. And then I married a woman that smoked, and that did not help, because all of a sudden you're bringing it into the house instead of just the bar. So, but I reached a point later on, I thought, I'm just through with this, And so I did not talk about it. I did not go through any program to do it. I just internally reached a point to where I made up my mind that I was going to quit.
Yep.
I did not announce it. I was not one of those that had to post it on social media and say, I haven't smoked in 3 months, 29 days, and 4 hours and 20 seconds. Some people do that. And I tell those people, I say, yeah, you may not have put it in your mouth, but it still controls you.
Yeah. And that, when they do that, I almost think sometimes that they're like, it's been this long since I had a cigarette and I miss it, like I want one.
That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with Alcoholics Anonymous. You're trading one addiction for another. So you never really get beyond it, because the one thing about programs like Alcoholics Anonymous is it's a constant reminder that I'm addicted, so it still controls you. You swap the bottle for a coin that you carry in your pocket. And I think everybody has and this is where I'm leading with all this, I'm sorry, but I think we all have the ability to do these things. We don't need these outside forces, but I think the problem is that we have culturally been convinced that we got to have this higher power. We got to have this other source, because we don't, and from a Christian viewpoint, I always bring to mind that, Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you. And he also said, if you believe I did these miracles, you're going to do even greater. So what he taught is actually kind of backwards from what they try to put into you, as they convince you that you're a wretched sinner, that you got to do this, you got to do that. When I think that the actual teachings throughout history is that you've already got it in you. You just have to draw it out and believe in yourself. He even said, ye are gods. And Christians hate those. A lot of Christians, I'm not picking on you, Kevin. A lot of Christians hate those verses because it doesn't coincide with the church's teachings. But some would say that this Jesus character was a mystic, you know, and so a lot of his teachings would kind of lead you that way. But the bottom line is that I believe that we have it in us, and I think that people like you are simply helping to guide us through what's already there.
Yeah, I've had people make the argument of that's just a placebo effect. I'm like, and
it works.
It helps.
Yeah,
it helps.
Yeah,
whatever works for that person.
Well,
so
it's just
it is real, or if it's a placebo effect.
Yeah, it's just like some people would criticize Kevin being a Christian and having all these haunted dolls. And the reality is, at least he's not one of these pastors standing up at a church praying for people while he's preying on their kids. You know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of those. So I'd rather Kevin, praise Jesus and play with his dolls.
I'm not the first oddball. I mean, look at John the Baptist out there wearing what did he wear? Skimpy something other, and he was eating locust hair all over the place.
Yeah. Well, worse than that.
Repent, for the end is at hand.
If you read the other John that wrote the book of Revelation was clearly on LSD. So
whoa, how's that?
The wild beast coming up from the sea and the sun.
You talking about his revelations?
That was some good science fiction writing back then. But anyway,
a lot of that I think might be metaphorical.
There's no doubt in my mind it's metaphorical. Believe me, I've been out in the ocean looking for that 700 wild beast. Uh-oh. What is on that shirt, Catherine? Did you see what's on that shirt, Catherine?
Oh, I see what's on that.
It's something about a nightmare, a little nightmare.
Yeah.
Jack is my favorite character.
So her entire nursery is Tim Burton themed.
It's what? Oh, wow. Okay.
It's all Tim Burton. It's purple and green and black and white.
We have been to where Big Fish was filmed.
Oh.
Yeah, Jackson Island. I forgot I did a film out there on that. Before we go any further, I want to change our course of conversation. Our friends up in Virginia that are originally Alabamians bought this old home up in Virginia, and they have filled it full of all kinds of haunted items. They have some haunted dolls, but they also have other haunted items. And she sent me just in the last 24 hours another clip. If anybody's paid attention to some of my postings, they recently bought this old wheelchair and put it out there. Before I get into that, I want to put out Chip, Kaitlin's husband, is going in for a surgery, and he's very scared, which I don't blame him. He's going in on the 10th, so burn a candle, whatever you do for people. Says they're good vibes to him. Now, I want you to watch this clip. We played other happenings that occurred in their haunted room. So I want you to watch this haunted chair and tell me what you see. She died.
I'm still here.
Okay. Still here. I want you to see this right here. Let's see. Where is it? That's it. Okay. Share. I'm going to play it. Now watch that chair. You see the wooden chair back there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting it now. See that?
Yeah. Jump forward.
Did you see that? You saw that, right?
Uh-huh.
Jump forward.
So what do you think of something like that?
I don't know how heavy those are, but I feel like they would really be difficult to say it was the wind.
Well, there was nothing windy in that room unless, and when they saw that on their surveillance camera, let me stop this and let's go to their follow-up on this the next day. So let me share this screen again because they went to investigate. This is in their house upstairs. They sleep downstairs. So let me go to the share button and let's do this thing. Share screen.
I wonder if the floor settling could have caused the wheelchair to.
Okay, well, let's go and listen to what they say here. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta sorry. Getting ahead of myself. Okay. So here they are the next day. Let's see what happens.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling very, very, like I said, this is plantation, no neighbors.
Okay, so this doll is from the 1900s, Grandma. Can you show Chip if that was around the time that you were here? Because we need to find out when this wheelchair is from.
Now she's from the face again. That was eyelash. It's a woman.
It's moving. Are you moving it?
No.
Whoa.
Grammy Graham.
Oh, that's the dog's ears down here.
Yeah, you drove me off too.
I can't let go, and then it just kept going.
Grammy Graham.
Hey, we think, what is it?
I moved my bag out.
Oh, I was moving myself. I'm like, oh shit. She is really fucking.
Okay, Grammy Graham, I'm gonna move this rug, so if you want to move, you can move, okay?
Trey brought his toy in here.
You did bring it from here.
You didn't bring his toy to her. He hid from her with the toy. And he's putting it right here for her.
Grammy Graham, is that a better spot?
1800s or 1900s?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm feeling very, very, like I said, this is plantation, no neighbors.
Okay, so this doll is from the 1900s, Grammy Graham. Can you show Chip if that was around the time that you were here? Because we need to find out when this wheelchair is from.
Now she's from the face again. That was eyelash. It's a woman.
It's moving. Are you moving it?
No.
Nope.
It just pushed
I did see it move forward.
Grammy Graham.
I was touching it, and so I would have been pushing it that way, and it pushed against me.
Yeah,
and
I
instead
saw
of moving
that.
it to let go, and then it just kept going.
Grammy Graham.
Hey, we think, what is it?
Okay, there is stuff there. There's that story. I just wanted to share that. That was just shared with me, and I thought that was interesting to share. So they've had a lot of very interesting things happen there. That's worthy of tuning into if you're into this kind of stuff. We are talking with Kaitlin in regards to doing a 2-hour special. In fact, we can go longer if you want to. We're not limited to 2 hours in any way, whatever it takes. But if people would like to do a regression about their previous lives, there's several ways we could do it. If you want, we find a date. She's got to look at her calendar, see what's available to her. Kevin and I do this every Tuesday. Catherine is usually with us most of the time, but the bottom line is this is an every Tuesday night event. Every Tuesday night event, and we just have to wait to see when Kaitlin is available, and then we can let everybody know. And I would say that when we do that, probably the best way to do it, you tell me, Kaitlin, is that if someone is interested, they need to contact us through direct message on Facebook, and that way on the night that we do this, we'll invite you on screen. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that would probably be the best.
So we can pick what, 2 or 3 people? How should you do it? You're the one.
Yeah. That.
Can you do more? Can you do a group thing?
Yeah, I could do a group. I could do a group or individual. So the group gets depending on how big the group can get kind of boring for viewers because
well, we don't want it too big a group because us
but
3 could be part of the group.
If we keep it small, they'll be able to respond verbally and we can all hear what they're going through. But with a large enough group, I can't have them respond verbally because everybody would be talking at the same time and you wouldn't be able to hear what's happening.
Yeah. Okay, so us 3 and let's say 2 more. So we will set a date. We'll get that out to everybody on all our social media, Facebook, whatever. And we will pick, or she will pick, 2 on top of us. So that'll be just 5 people in our group that you'll be doing this with. Is that comfortable?
The big thing is if you are doing it because you want to prove you can't be hypnotized, then it's not going to work for you.
Well, when you ask to be part of this,
yeah,
she may have a little questionnaire for you to fill out.
Yeah, because if you're just trying to prove a point that it's not going to work for you, then it won't work for you because you'll just be fighting me the whole time.
You got to want it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really. I mean, it's just like going to a store and buying something you don't want. Why would you do that?
Exactly.
So if you don't want it, just either watch it and laugh at us or whatever, but let somebody that wants it participate in it. That's the key to it.
Let me tell you, to be hypnotized is amazing. I do the hypnotizing videos all the time. And let me tell you, there's one that's a flying hypnosis video, and it's amazing. And I flew all over the city, and let me tell you, if there's you have to want it, because some days I don't want it, and some days I do.
Yep.
Some days it works, some days it doesn't.
Yeah, there's been times where my head is just not in it, and it's too focused on something else. And those days I cannot go into a hypnotic state at all.
So what about you, Kevin? You've been quiet through most of this part of the.
Well, I can't get a word in edgewise. I'm just kidding.
Go for it.
What about me? What's the question?
He's not even paying attention. He's over playing solitaire.
I was listening to the Crypt Witch.
Playful Rain definitely wants to be part of this, and Playful Rain is a believer.
She's there's a delay, a little like a minute or two delay on $100. I just know that she's talking about the wheelchair that Kaitlin has. She says
she wants the wheelchair. Oh, okay, I got it wrong. Yeah.
She was asking if they have a YouTube. I told her I don't think they do. I think Kaitlin just posts those on her Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I missed that. I wasn't following that, so that's it. Anyway, so we're talking about that. We'll set that up as the days go by. It may not be next week, but we'll get that done. We could have a New Year's party right here, and do those kind of readings for New Year's to tell people what their New Year is going to be like.
That would be cool.
Because this young lady also does tarot card reading. She also is like, we could have her and Lisa both on here, and they could do bone throwing.
Yeah, Lisa's the one that taught me the bone throwing.
She's very into that. I mean, she don't play.
That's awesome.
Have you got her book?
I haven't bought it yet. See, I'm terrible.
You are terrible.
I have stacks of books that I just keep buying, and it's like it's on my list, and I'll get there eventually.
Playful Rain says she does want to be hypnotized, and she wants the wheelchair.
She wants the wheelchair.
Oh, you don't want no Kelsey hypnosis there. He might mess you over there.
Oh, Lord. That'd be something to look forward to. And what I think, let's see when New Year's falls here. Let's plan a big show for New Year's and do readings as the new year comes about across the nation. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Anybody interested in that? Because it happens on a Friday night. I
might be out partying. I don't know.
Well, you go ahead. We will have a party of our own.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna stop you there. You just go right ahead.
You can have I tell you what, at midnight, as the clock ticks past midnight, and we have to do it more than once because I believe she's on probably Mountain Time.
Yep.
Yeah, Mountain Time.
So we'll have more than one celebration because it'll be New Year for us first. Then we'll do it again for her. And what we'll do though is, Kevin, in both instances, when it comes through to celebrate, you can have your glass of champagne, your flute, and you will have to twerk your way. You will have to twerk your way into the new year.
Am I going to do a doll drop instead of a ball drop?
Well, put it on a string. Yeah, put it on a string.
I'm not going to hang my doll.
Well, get a doll you don't like and do that.
I like all of them.
We'll go to Walmart and get a cheap doll.
Them that fall apart.
Well, that's New Year. But anyway, I think that'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? And we could do a New Year's show. That's on top of doing the regression show. This
Okay.
would be especially just for New Year, and that way we could tell you what's going to be in your future for your new year. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? You going to make any money? Are you going to die that year? Are you going to come back? Are you going to be a What is he playing with his breast for?
Stop playing with I was just rubbing I like the suspense.
Oh yeah.
Fine, I'll put my hands up here. I like the suspense.
Now put your armpits down again. We've already gotten on to you about that.
You don't want to see what my fingers do.
Kaitlin, how do they get a hold of you and learn more about you?
Okay, so I have a link to my group. I don't know where to put it though.
Since Kevin will put it out there on our. We'll put a banner for you.
So that's my Facebook group.
Okay, so let's see. Let me go copy it right here, and I'm gonna put it in a banner. Okay.
Because I can't see what you're doing.
Don't need to say. Mind your own business.
Right there.
Mind your own business. Mind your own business.
Shut.
Mind your own business.
Shut.
All right, so there at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, there it is.
Is a Facebook. Now I'm also going to post it on my in the chat room. There's comments. Okay, so guys, right here, and Kevin, you can grab this out of chat and put it on your YouTube, whatever, so people can find this lady, and she'll be glad to do private sessions. Now, what we do on our show will be free, but she does have to make money.
Yep.
It costs to have a baby and to raise a baby and all those things. So don't be greedy. Be nice. She'd like to have some kind of Christmas thing going too. So as I talk about that, remember Kevin's written 13 books. He's been working on the 14th book, but he's a victim of WMD.
WMD. What is
Weapons of Mass Distraction. You didn't read about that.
I've been working every day. I write at least a couple of pages there.
A couple of words.
Shut up. You don't know. MyHauntedDolls.com.
And on my end of things, where's my book?
Where's my book? Let's see. Oh, now they got one book cover up here. Oh, there it is. My Haunted Dolls. My Haunted Collection, The Dark Side.
The Dark Side.
The Dark Side.
Oh, I like this right here. Let's put this up here.
What you gonna put up here?
You'll find out.
You gonna put your Dating the Dead.
Now I was gonna let you do that, but I want to put this up here for.
Where's that Dating the Dead book?
There. You go to date, and that's simple to find. It's on Amazon, different places, but datingthedead.com. And there is more than just that part of it, because there's also a guy that fell in love with his car, and there's a lady that wanted to marry the Eiffel Tower. These I did not make any of these stories up. There's also a lady that claims she had sex with Bigfoot. And according to her story, he has more than just a Bigfoot. So you'll have to read that book. A lot of famous people.
They say big feet means no, never mind.
Oh yeah. You know, she had her child out there, Kevin. Geez. God. You can't take Kevin anywhere.
What was you about to say about famous people or something?
There's famous people who claim to have had these sexual relationships with ghosts. Years ago, what got me interested in this subject is I belonged to a group called Paranormal Clergy. We did exorcisms, minor exorcisms, house cleansings, that kind of stuff. One year, I had 2 phone calls the same year. One lady claimed she wanted to pay me. She was a young entertainer, songwriter, singer out of St. Louis. And she wanted to pay me to come to St. Louis to marry her to the ghost of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time.
And then another lady was out in Denver, Colorado, and she wanted me to get her husband back, who was the ghost of JFK Jr. So the first lady, I ended up getting some psychological help for her. The second lady actually sent me a donation check for getting JFK Jr. back to her. So anyway, there's these people, they really have these relationships with these ghosts and cars and Bigfoot and you name it. It's amazing. So anyway, there's one guy that was kind of laying up under the car, and I learned that the tailpipe had more than one purpose. So, and then there is the religious aspect of how we deal with the dead and whatnot. Anyway, I'm promoting my book. I don't know if Caitlin's written a book yet or not.
I have like 10 in draft form.
Well, what we need for you then is another pandemic so you have time to finish it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock. We're going to close it out for tonight. And we stay tuned with us because we're going to let you know about these two great events. Plan on Friday, the last day of this year, to join us for this celebration and card reading and bone throwing. I'll get Lisa to join us for that as well, hopefully.
When are we going to do my debit box?
I'm waiting on you. You said you're going to do it. I'm just waiting on you. Whenever
Okay.
you're ready, we can do it next week. Got nothing planned for next week. You be ready for next week? Hello? She vanished. You be ready for next week?
She vanished.
The debit box. Hello?
She's on mute.
She muted. Okay. We're going to close it out.
She's cussing you out.
I know that's right. Kaitlin, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for sharing that newborn, cute little bald-headed baby with us. And thanks to the rest of you guys for joining us tonight. And we shall see you in a week. Good night.
Good night.